Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're taking a trip to the beach. But we're not looking for seashells. We're looking for something much weirder. We're looking for the future of our planet's geology, being written right now, not by nature but by us. Our coastlines, that beautiful line between land and sea, are changing in a way that is both fascinating and deeply concerning. We are literally creating new types of rock from our industrial garbage. Stick around, because what's happening is a geological revolution happening at warp speed. Geologists usually talk in terms of millions of years, but many now say we've kicked off a whole new geological epoch, the Anthropocene, the age of humans. And nowhere is this more obvious than on our coasts. Take a look at West Cumbria in England. For over a century, iron and steel foundries dumped their waste, a material called slag, along the shore. Researchers recently made a startling discovery. This industrial waste is turning into solid rock in as little as 35 years. 35 years. A process that should take thousands, if not millions of years, is happening in a single human lifetime. The slag's reactive chemicals, like calcium and iron, are mixing with seawater and air to form natural cements, binding it all together into what scientists are calling anthropoclastic rock. It's a brand new, human-made geology. And it's not just slag. Our industrial age is creating what are called technofossils. Think about it. Future geologists won't just find dinosaur bones. They'll find aluminum can tabs, coins, and plastic. So much plastic. On beaches from Hawaii to Brazil, scientists are finding bizarre new rock-like formations. Plastiglomerates are a horrifying mashup of melted plastic, sand, and rock fragments, often created when we burn our trash on the beach. Then there are anthropoquinous, which are basically sedimentary rocks with plastic and metal bits cemented right into them by natural processes. Our garbage is becoming a permanent, indelible part of the Earth's rock record. That bottle you threw away? It might just become a fossil. But the changes aren't just physical. Industrial runoff is a toxic chemical cocktail that's launching a full-scale assault on coastal life. Industries release a flood of heavy metals, like lead, mercury, and cadmium. These don't just wash away. They settle into the sediment, getting eaten by tiny organisms at the bottom of the food chain. And this is where a truly scary process called biomagnification kicks in. A small fish eats some contaminated plankton. A bigger fish eats a bunch of those small fish. A seal eats the bigger fish. At each step, the toxins become more and more concentrated. By the time they reach top predators, like whales, dolphins, or even us when we eat seafood, the levels can be dangerously high, causing everything from reproductive failure to neurological damage. And get this, pollutants like PCBs and DDT, banned decades ago, are still out there, still climbing up the food chain. Then there's the stuff that's supposed to be good, nutrients. Runoff from farms and factories is loaded with nitrogen and phosphorus. On land, they're fertilizers. In the ocean, they trigger massive, explosive growths of algae, called algal blooms. When all that algae dies and decomposes, it sucks up all the oxygen in the water. This creates what are chillingly called dead zones, vast areas of the ocean where most marine life simply suffocates and dies. The Gulf of Mexico has one of the world's largest dead zones, fed by the Mississippi River, which drains a huge chunk of America's agricultural and industrial heartland. This single dead zone threatens a massive portion of the U.S. seafood supply, devastating fishing communities and the local economy. And let's not forget our clothes. The fast fashion and textile industry is a huge polluter. The dyeing process uses immense amounts of water and toxic chemicals. In places like India, untreated wastewater from textile factories has turned entire rivers into poisonous streams, contaminating drinking water and killing aquatic life. Plus, every time we wash synthetic fabrics like polyester or nylon, tiny plastic fibers, microplastics, break off and wash down the drain, eventually ending up in the ocean, where they're eaten by the smallest of creatures, entering the food web right at the very bottom. The ripple effect of all this is huge. Fishing communities that have relied on the sea for generations are collapsing. Tourism, which so many coastal towns depend on, suffers when beaches are polluted and the water is empty of life. The cost of cleanup is astronomical, and there are hidden public health costs from exposure to contaminated water and food. It's a classic case of environmental injustice, where the communities suffering the most are often the ones who contributed the least to the problem. Okay, so that's all pretty bleak. But it's not hopeless. There is a growing awareness of this crisis, and it's sparking real innovation. Advanced wastewater treatment plants can now use things like membrane filtration and even biological treatments to remove contaminants at the source. Some factories are even moving to zero liquid discharge systems, recycling all their water internally. And for the pollution that's already out there, we have bioremediation. This is where we use microorganisms, tiny little bacteria, to break down pollutants like oil spills into less harmful substances. But technology isn't a silver bullet. We need strong policies, stricter regulations, and a fundamental shift to a circular economy, where we design waste out of the system from the beginning. The story of our coastlines is a powerful and, frankly, a scary story. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences that will literally be set in stone. The rocks forming on our beaches today carry the signature of our industrial world. The future of these beautiful, vital ecosystems is in our hands. The legacy we leave in the geological record is a choice we are making every single day. Thanks for listening to G Fun Facts Online. Think about what you've heard, and well, see you next time.